If you want more FIFA content from me, I'm now uploading exclusive videos to Patreon. The link for that is down below. And if you want to avoid the random lottery that is FIFA points, you can go straight to the source with u7buy.com. And of course, you can use the code TVM at checkout to get yourself a discount. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to yet another player review. So, Wilfred Ndidi has been given an 87 rated player moments, or team of the week moments card, I should say. Now, a lot of controversy around the team of the week moments. Is there any point? Well, for most cards, no, because they have better versions already, but Ndidi doesn't. So he's actually one of the more desirable cards. I did actually pick a few out that were desirable and then completely forgot, like, for instance, Iago Aspas has a screen card, so maybe not as desirable as first thought. But Ndidi doesn't have anything above him, and I've been waiting for this card for quite a while. He could actually have been given this a while back. He did. I think he scored a goal in a win for Leicester, and I picked him out. I can't remember what week it would have been, but still. And EA just completely ignored it and didn't give him the 87. I don't really know why they didn't, because this would be a desirable card. Now, unfortunately, I feel like it's a little bit behind the curve. Like, it's still a good card, don't get me wrong, and I'm obviously going to reflect that in the review, I'm sure, but the unfortunate thing about this is if they'd given him that inform back when he deserved the inform, this would now be an 88. He may even have had two, so he could have been an 89. That is very unfortunate, because that would have meant the card would be far more useful than what it is currently. Now, he's got a 4-star weak foot, which is really nice. Only the 3-star skills, but I'm going to use him purely as a CDM, so I don't need to worry too much about that. Now, I've given him a Powerhouse Chem style, which obviously does boost that defensive stat up quite considerably, up by 7 across the board on average anyway, up to 96, which is really impressive. And of course, that passing goes up by 10 on average across the board, which boosts the short passing to 99, which I thought was very, very, very nice indeed. Now, if you feel the need to boost the pace, acceleration, or whatever it may be, and you don't care about the passing, then yes, sure, why not stick a shadow on him? But to be fair, I do like to make sure that my CDMs can pass it out from the back, because what I tend to do is 4-1-2 narrow, drop between the two centre-backs, and that's no different for Ndidi. He's 6 foot with a lean body type, so even though he is relatively tall compared to some of the players he'd be playing against, because obviously most attackers in FIFA 20 are low centre of gravity. Some of them are like 5'9" and shorter. You know, the likes of Alejandro Gomez is even shorter than that again. So, and not that I come up against him a lot, but you know, most attackers are trying to fit the meta, so they are going to be short. Now, with a lean body type, unfortunately, it means that his strength at 78, which doesn't sound terrible, isn't going to feel as good as it could do, because he has that lean body type. And believe it or not, that does actually make a difference. If he had a stocky body type, he would feel stronger despite maybe having the same strength. And it's the same with an average body type, not quite as being good as a stocky and being better than lean. Hopefully that makes sense. But with that being said, he does have a high defensive work rate, so he's more than happy to stay back when the rest of the team were gallivanting up top trying to attack and score goals, which I thought was quite nice. Now, like I said, I do have them on drop between the defenders or the centre-back. So at times, because I've got my full-backs on overlap, at times he was acting as if he was the third centre-back in a 3 at the back, and then at other times he was the third centre-back in a 5 at the back. But he was very capable in terms of his defensive stats, and you would expect nothing less when you look at that, and you would have seen it at the beginning, of course. When you look at his defensive stats with a Powerhouse Chem style, he turns into one of the better defenders in the game. 99 slide tackle, stand tackle, defensive awareness, and 95 interceptions is so impressive. With that 97 stamina as well. He's just an absolute machine. So ready and so capable to just run the entire game. You don't need to take him off. He's everywhere. His defensive positioning is brilliant. There aren't that many cards, in terms of a CDM at least, that will match up to the ability of Ndidi. And because he's got that lean body type, he swings and roundabouts here as well, because that lean body type allows him to feel a lot more agile than what that agility and balance would suggest as well. And of course, he doesn't have tremendous pace, because his acceleration is 75, his sprint speed 78. He doesn't feel super quick running with the ball, for example, but when he's on the jockey trying to cut off a passing lane or trying to stand up an attacker and try and force them back or win the ball off them even, he feels very, very quick when you're trying to jockey that particular player. And that is something that obviously as a CDM is it's something that you can't read into unless you use the card. You don't know how good that is going to feel. There are so many different cards out there that will suggest that the card would be good at jockeying because he's got high agility, maybe he's got 80 something pace. But when in actual fact you try to do that, the body type, the height, and all the combination of it will let him down. And Ndidi, even when I used the 86 back when that came out, and I'm actually going to go and do a little bit of research now. When did that card come out? That came out on the 2nd of October. That is mad. How long ago that card came out? The 2nd of October. That card is even now about 50k, which is still quite a lot. And that just goes to show how good that card actually is. For that card that came out on the 2nd of October to still be worth, in Team of the Week 3, to still be worth 50,000 coins is a testament to how good Ndidi is. And it does really, really baffle my mind as to why EA couldn't have upgraded him to an 88 or even an 89 and just completely ignored their upgrade system, because their upgrade system is so linear that it means that this card is only really 1 or 2 points better in certain positions than the 86. And it came out in Team of the Week 3. We're effectively in Team of the Week 30 something, and he's only been upgraded by 1 or 2 here or there. So it is very, very frustrating to me that EA didn't take the initiative, and instead of just copying a Team of the Week that they released last year, they could have just mixed and matched or even picked the same Team of the Week but give them better boosts. Really, really frustrating stuff. Now, you've heard enough about what's good about the card, what's bad about the card. To be fair, there isn't really that much that I want to point out that isn't really that good. He's a solid CDM. Like, there's not an awful lot more to say about the card other than the fact that he will do a job for you. He's very capable in that sense of tracking back. And, of course, if you have him on stay back while attacking anyway, there will be no need to track back because he'll already be there. But he's very capable of his natural positioning. So if you're not controlling him and you leave it down to the AI, he's very... you'll find him that he's in the right place at the right time, for example. Now, he doesn't have any traits, unfortunately. So when... traits are often misunderstood. So some cards have traits that are obviously next to it now because they've got that tab in-game where it says traits, and most of them will have CPU controlled or CPU AI or whatever it may be. That tends to mean when you're playing squad battles, but it can mean when you're not controlling a particular player and the AI is helping you by moving players back into position and so on and so forth. That can have a factor on it. So the fact that he doesn't have a trait is a little bit unfortunate, but taking nothing away from it, his natural position is very, very good. The ability to block off the passing lane, even when you're not controlling him, is very, very good. And there isn't really a downside. Like, maybe you could argue the nation isn't very good, but the league is so good that it shouldn't make a blind bit of difference anyway. Like, you're not going to be able to fit him into a Bundesliga team without using icons or other Leicester City players, but you can get him into a very strong Premier League team. Now, he's not the best CDM in the game, even though I've praised him and there isn't really that many negatives to mention. His strength could be higher because of that lean body type. That's probably the biggest thing to take away from the whole review, is that he's not going to feel as strong as maybe you'd like him to. But 78 strength, realistically, should make him feel strong anyway. But that lean body type will cause you a few problems combined with 71 balance. He won't get knocked off the ball. He's quite robust, but just know that he's not going to win battles up against some really strong... Like, there's a flashback Diego Costa. He's going to absolutely mash Ndidi. There's no way Ndidi can sort of muscle him off the ball. The best he can do is try and cut the passing lane or just be a nuisance to him. He's never going to go in and muscle him off. But fortunately, you don't come up against those type of cards that often, unless, of course, you're playing against a team going for an icon swap objective or whatever it may be. But fortunately, you don't come up against those that often, so you should be fine with it. But in general, not an awful lot in the way of negatives to speak of. Good positioning, good backtracking, good defensive awareness, and good work rates as well. Just mean that this is a solid card. It really is a solid card. There are cards better than him, of course, and you know, of course, you can run through the similarities until you're blue in the face. There is a Footmus Axel Witsel, and there's plenty of icons knocking about the place. Of course, Kante, in my opinion, is still a better card, just the base version. I've got him, and I've played over 600 games with him, and I think he's just a much better card, but that's not saying that Ndidi isn't useful. And if you move away, if you've done the player of the moment's Kimmich, you don't need to go and get Ndidi unless you need that card for a Premier League squad, or maybe you've packed him and you need him in a first owner team or whatever it may be. But in general, do I like the card? Yes. Are there better cards out there? Of course there are. However, he is firmly within Class 2. Very, very usable. Very high rated with a Powerhouse Chem style. And just an absolutely solid, no-nonsense CDM. Let me know what you think of him in the comment section down below. Whether you've used him or not, or whether you plan to pick him up. If you have enjoyed the review, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.